constant. A store that has the brands your family loves and the value that you need. A store where you can stock up, pick up, and drive up. A store that's close to home and feels like home. A store that puts the health and safety of you and your family above all else. And a store that's always here to help. At Kohl's, we don't know what next year will look like. We just know that we'll be here for you no matter what. Kohl's, here today, here to stay. See store or Kohls.com for details.
11:30 The Tiger, your home for LSU sports, powered by Jack Spring Electric. KWKH, Shreveport, Bossier City.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, runner at first, the pitch, swing and a miss! Tigers win! Tigers win!
Floating through the airwaves like smooth hickory smoke, Patrick Netherton.
Welcome you back to the Patrick Netherton Show right here on 1130 The Tiger. He's Rogers Hampton. I'm Patrick Netherton. Pleased to have you with us, and a good friend and a G-man through and through, and one of the best coaches in the nation that you're going to find, a man who's done a remarkable job at Grambling. Broderick Fobbs joins the show now to chat a little bit about what's going on with the G-men. All right, Coach, let's kind of what I ask everyone at this point is, with the pandemic being the way it is, how are you? How's your family? How are your friends? Is everybody okay right now?
Well, Pat, I appreciate that. You know, everything's going well. You know, my family's doing well. Of course, you know, I've become a really good softball coach now.
Yeah.
But the family's doing well. You know, the kids are doing well, and my parents are doing well also. So we're hanging in there, man, and trying to continue to develop and get better as people and continue to grow.
All right, so give me some indication of what you can do right now. Obviously, things are limited. We know football players have kind of been allowed back on campus, but you know, how many can you get at a time? How many can you coach, and kind of what does that look like right now?
Well, you know, it's been very, very difficult. You know, we've been told that, you know, no more than 11 guys, you know, in the weight room at a time, and just try to operate in small groups. And that makes it extremely difficult when you have over 114 players, not to mention, you know, the strength coaches that are involved in it as well. It kind of makes for long days, and that makes it extremely difficult in order to do that.
Everybody masked up while they're working out, I'm assuming that's part of the protocol?
Yes, it is. You know, that's part of it. You know, our kids have not been lifting at our facility, you know, because I just choose to not do that. You know, I didn't want to create a situation where our guys would be in a situation where they could be in trouble, you know, with this, you know, pandemic. Mm-hmm. So we've been basically, you know, just closing down our weight room, but that's been the laws and rules that we've gotten when it comes to lifting weights. So
what do you do then? Do you send them to gyms? What are your alternatives for these kids to try to stay in shape if they're not able to get into your weight room?
Well, what we've done is we've allowed all of our guys to stay at home, but we have an app where our strength coach basically puts the workouts up. All the players can basically video themselves and show the workouts that they're doing, and kind of discuss, you know, everything that's going on. And our entire coaching staff is able to get on there and see and make sure that everyone is doing the same workout. So it's a little bit difficult, but at the end of the day, I'm trying to marry staying safe and staying healthy along with, you know, making sure that they continue to work out and do things the right way. So
sure.
We've been using an app that has helped us to do that.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting, Fobbs, that we've kind of seen once the spring sports were canceled and everyone went to remote learning, it's kind of amazing how the technology has developed from that, where now you can kind of do everything remotely. Do you find that maybe some of what you're doing now and some of what's happened now with the Zoom meetings, those kind of things, do you think any of that carries forward once we get back to some sense of normalcy that, you know, hey, maybe we're going to do this in the off season, we'll keep up with guys on Zoom, that kind of thing?
Well, absolutely, and I think, Pat, from time to time, things happen in our lives, and it's really a shame at times to say that we've experienced loss of life, but there's times where we've experienced growth from, loss. So I think with this current pandemic, all of the measures that's in place with, getting online and being able to communicate with your players, being able to meet with your players, being able to see guys do workouts over the holiday season. All of those things are things that we will definitely incorporate into our program in the future in order that we may improve and continue to be better. So, of course, that is the case. I think, having opportunities to fundraise is also a thing that's helped us as well.
Mm-hmm.
Being at Grambling State University, we have alumni all over the country.
Mm-hmm.
So now I've been basically to California, I've been to Florida, I've been to D.C., I've been everywhere, but I've only been in my living room the entire time fundraising and talking about the initiative of helping our university acquire the funds that we need in order to make sure that we put the type of program and the product on the field the right way. So it's definitely been beneficial to us, and it's something that I plan to continue to do as we continue to go forward.
Do you feel an onus to, in some degree, maybe fundraise even more, that maybe almost like a rainy day fund type of deal where you look at it and say, okay, we don't know the status of this upcoming season. There's guarantee games that we're not sure are going to happen. Do you almost look at it as, okay, I need to be even more of a fundraiser right now?
Absolutely, and that's always been, my mindset since I've been here. And any program, I think, that has a head football coach, that's the mindset, is regardless of the situation, you can never have enough and you can never have enough funds. So you want to make sure that you do everything that you possibly can to make things more comfortable for your players and also for your coaches and people involved.
Talking to Broderick Fobbs, head coach of Grambling State University, as we kind of work through this. So something that affected Grambling and Coach, your football schedule, the MEAC announcing that it is suspending all fall sports. Your first game was the SWAC MEAC Challenge in Atlanta against South Carolina State. Kind of walk me through this. Just happened, so it's brand new, but kind of walk me through the discussions that you're having with the admins of Grambling, of the SWAC, anybody you talk to, the coaches over at South Carolina State. Walk me through those discussions and how that's come about here as this news has broken in the last 24 hours.
Well, I think, the thing that has been extremely difficult is, the NCAA has put different testing measures in place in order to make sure that everyone stays safe. And those testing measures are necessary, and we all know that it's something that needs to be done. But on the flip side of that, you also have to have the funding available in order to do those things, to make sure that your players remain safe and your faculty and staff remain safe. So, I think, once everyone saw the measures and things of that nature, I think the MEAC kind of got behind it and said, hey, look, we're not going to be able to do this at this particular time. So let's try to postpone things until, a later date. We haven't made a decision as of yet. But, like I said earlier, the foundation is cracking. But, we do know at some point our senior class will get the opportunity to play football again, whether it's later on, whether it's this spring or whether it's next year. They will get, another opportunity crack at it in order to continue their careers.
I'm curious, do you feel like, and I know this may be a bad question, and I'm sorry if I'm asking you a bad question, but do you feel like that this is sort of a domino effect? We saw the Patriot League, the Ivy League, the Colonial, now the MEAC. Do you feel like that this is just sort of a domino effect that eventually will kind of get all of the FCS? Because I like to be positive, Fobbs, but it does feel like a bad scenario and kind of the wrong way rolling downhill right now.
It does feel that way. And, I don't know the future, but I do know what I do feel. And I feel the same way you feel at this particular time because, this is a game that we all love. And not just this game, there are other sports that are affected by it as well in the fall. So, hopefully, we can get things back on track and we can continue, what we've done in the past and continue to have the type of successful programs that we've had all over the country.
How much are you involved in not necessarily decision making, but just in planning with your administration at Grambling, the folks at the conference at the SWAC? Are you having sort of constant dialogue with those folks, or are you basically like, hey, I'm in my bubble, I'm trying to get my guys ready, y'all just let me know when y'all figure out what's happening?
Well, it's funny you say that, but we do have communication, with our conference office and also our leadership at our university. That they do a tremendously great job of making sure that we stay in tune with everything. They ask us different questions. What do we think? Because we are the ones that's actually in the fire. So they want to make sure that they have a spokesperson there that can actually let them know, how we feel about the situation and what we need to do. So it's been very, very good for us, as far as communicating and making sure that all parties are on the same page and that we have all information that's needed. But at the same time, I also have to jump in my bubble and make sure that my coaches, my players, and our entire, team is doing the things that we need to do in order to be prepared and be ready to go. So, yes and no, I jump in the bubble and I jump out of the bubble also.
There you go. Talking to Broderick Fobbs, head coach of the Grambling Tigers. All right, so obviously if we all had our druthers, the season would start on time and everything would be great and we'd move along. But I don't know that that's going to happen. We're seeing a lot of the Power 5 conferences start to fall in terms of non-conference games. If you had your choice, would you move the season back a month and hope for some sort of a vaccine or something like that? Would you move it to the spring? Would you just say, hey, let's just punt on 2020 entirely and pick it back up in 2021? What do you think is the best option right now? Or do you just leave that up to other folks?
Well, going back to how this whole thing transpired, we left campus, first week of March. What I've always felt we should do is we should push back the start of the season to maybe October. And I felt that we should have done that because that would have given us and everyone time to not only, work on, trying to help this situation, but then it'll also give our kids' bodies an opportunity to get in shape when we are able to return.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the fact that we tried to return on time hurt us for even the game in the fall completely. Because you have to get in shape, you have to work out, you have to do all those things. If we would have just gave the whole spring and the entire summer off to work on this pandemic, we could have started working out maybe in August. And then now maybe we wouldn't be in this situation. And now we can take August and September and treat those 2 months like June and July, and then we could have started training camp in October and then went on from there.
Yeah.
But now that, we tried to start on time, I think that put us in a situation where more people have gotten the virus, and now it makes possibly starting in September almost a memory.
Yeah, and it's interesting because we've gotten, and I don't know how much of this occurs with your program, but kind of it seems like nationwide at the Division I football level, whether it be FBS or FCS, summer ball has become such a big deal. You get guys on campus, they're working out together, they're doing their own voluntary workouts, quarterbacks are throwing with receivers, and you're kind of losing some of that. Do you feel like there is a real sort of, I guess, starting off behind a little bit with the idea that the guys don't necessarily get to be able to be on campus and be together during the summer?
Absolutely, and that's why I was all on board with pushing everything back to create that same environment, but just starting it later. Starting it in August. Where now you can still have those months to get prepared. You just basically pushing the season back, where everything starts a little bit later. So, but we all love this game. We all feel it's an important game, not only for each particular university, but also just for the fans involved. So, and in my opinion, we could have done that and then pushed it back a little bit at a time, and just saw how things work. But now we're in danger of losing the entire fall and having to participate, in the spring semester, hopefully.
We know that coaches have to be parents sometimes, counselors sometimes, friend. You have a lot of roles that you have to play: mentor, teacher, disciplinarian. Did you ever think you'd have to turn into an epidemiologist and a scientist all at the same time? I mean, are you gonna go ask Grambling to give you some sort of an honorary science degree?
Oh man, I need to. I'm thinking about putting that on my resume as well. It's just, I've always been the type of person. Any situation that I'm about to experience, I've always wanted to enlist, the experience of someone else that has been through that type of situation. Well, I was sitting at my desk yesterday, and I looked at Coach Rob's picture that's over my desk, and I said to myself, well, I can't ask you about this.
Yeah.
So there's really nothing I could ask about it. So it's kind of feeling your way through it. And I think the whole country is just feeling their way through this situation and learning as much as we possibly can about this current situation so that we can, be better from it.
Last thing, Coach, and obviously we do appreciate your time. You mentioned kind of jumping in and out of the bubble where you have to deal with the administration, the conference, the long-term planning, maybe push the season back, move it to spring, whatever, but also still trying to coach your football team. Is that difficult to kind of be able to keep? Because you're used to, at this point in time, you're fundraising, but you've also got a majority of your guys on campus. Y'all are working out. The guys are doing their voluntary workouts, all of that stuff. You're getting to be in your bubble. Has it been tough to kind of jump in and out and try to stay focused on making your team better while having all of this looming over you?
It really is, and it's extremely challenging and difficult. But I'm always the type of person that looks at things as being half full. So I believe that it makes me a better person. It makes me a better coach because I've had to learn some things outside of the bubble that deal with the administration, that deal with fundraising, and deal with all of these other areas that maybe I would not have learned if we would not have experienced this current situation. So, yes, it is difficult. Yes, it is challenging. But it's something that I don't mind going through because it helps me, in the long run to be better. Because if there's something else that I experience, I can pull from this experience in order to use it to my advantage.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. The glass is half full, Fobbs, but it might be full of rat poison at this point. That's the problem. That's kind of where we're at right now. Hey, look, you're the best, Broderick. Thank you so much for your time, man. You've been a friend for a long time. We really appreciate it. I hope we get a season at some point, whether it's delayed or not. I'd love to see you guys running back out there at Eddie Robinson Field and hopefully having a good year. Best of luck. Stay safe. Keep your family safe, and we look forward to catching up with you soon.
Well, Pat, my question to you, how's the golf game?
Man, I haven't touched the sticks in the entire year. I haven't touched them. And I got no good reason for it. I've just been lazy, Broderick, to be honest with you. I've been lazy.
Well, I promise you your game is better than mine, even if I practice.
Oh, well, that's all right. That's all right. Hey, stay safe, man, and we look forward to catching up with you soon. That was Broderick Fobbs that we recorded earlier.